What happened to you before you were 26?
I was on holiday in Marbella, gone to a club. As we left the club, the boy that we knew had a row with these fellas. These fellas said that he tried to rob them, what was not true. Because the police have come over at that time and seen us, they've just assumed that we're part of what's going on. We're in the prison for like 2 days. They've come and said, you've got court date. We're like, what's going on? We don't know what's going on. You're getting nicked for armed robbery. You tried to rob someone at knife point. So there was no knife ever recovered. There was one bit of evidence. Me and my mate got sentenced to I'm successful, my business is thriving, I've got all this stuff going on for me, but I still feel unfulfilled. I don't know what it is. Now I know what it is. Now I've realised when I think back to drinking, I'm always at the wrong place at the wrong time. At this party, I've gone over, I've got involved with the argument. Out of nowhere, someone's hit me with a bottle. Bottle didn't break, what was a miracle, because I probably would have had scars all over my face, but it broke my jaw. The day after, I woke up in the morning and my face is like that.
So, mate, a massive welcome to the Raw Talk podcast. We've got
Thanks for having me on.
Mr. Tommy Bishop. Mate, complete transparency. I know that obviously our coaching relationship, I'm currently helping you out with your business, but I take a lot of inspiration from you. I do. I really do. I think not just from the business you've created, but for the man that you are and are becoming and for the human being that you are. And I really mean that.
Appreciate it.
I think, the conversations we've had over WhatsApp, over calls, in person, I think you're a great bloke, and that's why I love coaching you. But for those of you that don't know you, who's Tommy?
So, Tommy Bishop, I'm an online fitness coach, originally from London, from Essex, moved to Dubai January this year. So I've been out here for 11 months now. And just loving life at the moment, just worked with you since February this year. I remember when we had our first call, I told you that I was thinking for a little while about reaching out to you. I just needed to get a few things in place in terms of like what was going on in personal life and that. But I knew that you was going to be the person that was going to be able to help me, because I see how dedicated you was to not only your work but to the business that you was creating with Coach's Corner. I've had all the big time coaches reach out to me on Instagram, emails like you do. And I'm not going to lie, I nearly worked with all of them. I nearly sent that message let's have a call, but I didn't. And the reason why I chose to work with you was because I just see that you had a real passion for what you was doing. I knew that you was a great coach. I knew that you got great results. I knew that you was very invested into the business. But I just felt like that you was going to be somebody that we was going to jump on a call and we was going to be able to talk, and you was going to be able to give me advice, and I was going to be able to implement the stuff that you tell me to do. If I was going to work with one of these big time coaches, they was going to pass me on to someone in their team. I just didn't feel like I was going to have that one-to-one connection with them. So yeah, that's the reason why I chose to work with you. And here we are now doing a podcast together. So it's going well.
Yeah, appreciate that, mate. What an introduction. And it's funny because I've had a couple of clients on this, and I don't tend to jump in and be like, right, put a gun to your head and be like, right, tell them how great I am. But no, I really appreciate that, mate. Thank you. It's very, very kind. And we don't have to blag about numbers and stuff like that. But I mean, realistically, what have you done? You pretty much 5x your business in 10 months, which is incredible, mate. And you should be really proud of that. And the reason that we bring this up at the start of the podcast is because you've grown the way that I personally believe and I'm most passionate about, from a perspective of the number one thing in your eyes is your clients and your service delivery. And I think that people can pick whatever route that they want, but I think a lot of people pick the route of, right, let's hammer marketing, let's hammer selling, let's hammer all these different things. They're a part of the business. But realistically, mate, you deliver a fantastic service. You get great level of results. You get a great level of referrals. And realistically right now, if we were to break that down into kind of like a numbers perspective, you're on the brink of, you could be on the brink of 250,000 years.
Yeah. So I've been having PB months since I've worked on, with you. Like I said to you on our original call, I want to grow my business. I want to, be very successful, especially moving out to Dubai. It was this is the next step for me and the next stage of my journey. But the first thing that I needed to do was get better results. I knew I was a good coach. I knew that the service that I provided was excellent. I knew that I was always there for my clients. I would always jump on calls when they needed me to. I'd always reply back to messages straight away. I knew that I was very good at coaching, but I just needed to get better results. And I felt like that come with just being a little bit stricter with clients. Like, you know, right, what's the number one goal right now? Is it to lose 10 kilos? Is it to get your body fat down? This is what you need to do. And I feel like sometimes I was just a little bit too easy on clients. I just needed to be a little bit stricter. And I said to you, I said, just get, like, make me a better coach. That was the first call that we had, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We didn't even talk about numbers. We didn't even talk about, like, you know, growing business. It was just like, be a better coach.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love that. And I still remember like our first few conversations where, you know, you'd send me a WhatsApp message and be like, right, this is what I'm thinking of doing. What do you reckon? And we'd jump back and forth and we'd figure things out, whether it be tweaks to diet or tweaks to training or, you know, picking someone for a shoot or whatever it may be. And you've now just like completely come into your own with that, you know, whether it be one-to-one PT, whether it be on or the online side of things. So it's been really good, mate. And I know that you've inspired a lot of our clients to do so, you know. And I think that in today's day and age, I guess, what advice would you give someone who is getting distracted with trying to jump to that shiny object when really they should just be focusing on their service first things first?
Yeah, I feel like the most important thing is getting results. I feel like if you're an online coach, like fat loss coach, you need to be getting high level results. I remember many years ago, mentor said that if you've got 10 jaw dropping transformations, that will set your business up for, you know, a good few years. And just having them transformations, having them testimonials, people need to, or clients need to, like, they need to trust you. They might be thinking about working with you. And this is something that I've realized, that people won't sign up with you straight away. They might follow you on Instagram. They might message you back and forward, and they might not sign up until like 6 months. They want to see some trust. They want to see, you know, what type of person you are, how you run your business. They want to see other people's results. They're like, right, you know, she's a 40-year-old mum. She's got 3 kids like me. She's managed to lose 10 kilos and now she feels confident in a bikini on holiday. If Sarah can do it, then I can do it. So it's all about having them results, and it's all about having the trust within your audience. And I feel like for me, the biggest game changer has been expressing sharing my story, being more confident in myself, putting myself out there, letting people a little bit more into my life, where before I was a much more reserved. And again, I know you don't want to let everyone into everything that you've got going on, but I feel like just sharing a bit more about yourself, you can really connect with the type of client that you should be working with, because there's millions of people. You know, you might have thousands of followers on Instagram. It doesn't mean that they're going to sign up and work with you. Like, I feel like the people you work with are the people that have chose to work with you for a reason. They can connect with you and they know you're the right person for the job. And that's one of the things that I've really tried to do, build a good relationship with my clients. So even when they stop working with me, they can still say, you know what, when I worked with Assess Coaching, when I worked with Tommy, he was a fantastic coach. He was reliable. He was, you know, nice. He didn't send me any nasty messages. So that's one of the things I would tell people that are just getting into the space, just be really good at what you do and believe in yourself. That's one of the most important things.
Yeah, I love that, man. And I think it's really important what you said there about the kind of experience of a client when they are stepping back and looking back at that. I feel that unfortunately it's very, very easy to, you know, have a client, you know, decide to step back off board or whatever it may be and almost end things on a low by kind of stressing about it and, you know, maybe throwing comments around and stuff like that. But it's you want to, realistically, because you're in this business to kind of impact as many people as possible, when someone is being offboarded, it's right, great, how can we set you up for success, you know? Yeah. How can you make sure that the offboarding process is nice and smooth? Because realistically right now, we've had, which blows my mind, but we've had so many of our ex-clients refer somebody else and they're not even working with us anymore.
Yeah.
You know, a few weeks ago, we had someone refer somebody to us and they're not working with us at all. In fact, my accountant did that. My accountant, shout out Gareth and Logan, two of them, they were referring clients to us. I'm like, you don't even work with us, but you just jump on a call and, you know, it's that whole vibe attracts your tribe, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
And, you know, kind of going off the back of that then, mate. So obviously we've been in each other's life for the last year. Listen to the podcast that you did where you kind of revealed a lot of your story, mate, and honestly I can relate so much to that. I feel it was a very, very, very powerful story. So for those that don't really know I guess Tommy Bishop's past, like what you've been through, the transition. Like, let's reverse back, because you said to me in the gym earlier, 26 years old. That was a big kind of like shift in your life. You had like new focus, new goals, a lot of stuff going on. So let's take it back to there, mate. What happened to you from that point?
From 26. So from 26, I was still going out, partying, drinking, taking drugs, doing all the bad stuff. Didn't really have no purpose in my life. Didn't really have anything going on. Like, I didn't have a job, like a stable job. Like, I was like working with my cousin. He had a roofing company, so I was doing like labouring. Like, I was, I was earning okay money, but then I'll spend every single penny on the weekend on drink and drugs. Yeah. And then basically, I met someone who changed my life. She finally gave me purpose in life. She basically changed me from doing everything that I used to do to basically create this new identity, because I felt lucky that I got with this girl. And, I believe everything is always meant to be, and I was meant to be with this person. And when I got with her, I was like, right, I'm now with this girl. I know this was meant to be. I need to sort myself out. I can't be going out. I can't be drinking. I can't be, doing all the bad stuff that I was doing, because I'm not going to be able to keep this person. Like, they're not going to want to be with me. So this girl gave me purpose. She gave me a reason to get out of bed in the morning. And then I was really, really lucky, because my best friend at the time, he had some money to invest, and he basically said to me, I want to open a gym. I want you to run the gym. Would you do like your personal training course? I didn't have no intentions of being a personal trainer, by the way. Like, I didn't think about it. And I started training a few mates just like in the gym, just like casually and that. And then when he basically said to me about this gym, I was like, you know what? I could be a personal trainer. Like, I love training. I like the thought of it. Let me go and do my PT course, get that done. My mate opened the gym up and I started running it. And then literally this was all in the space of like 3 weeks. Like, I took this girl out on a date in January, and then we opened the gym in February. So it was like, right, this was all meant to be. Like, this is the way that, God is like planning my life. Like, this happens here. Now I'm in this gym. Now I've got a job. Don't get me wrong, I had to work extremely hard. I didn't have no clients. I had to build a client base up. I had to put myself out there. But I worked 7 days a week. I was in that gym, like, people would cancel all the time. What personal training is like. When you're training your friends and your friends' girlfriends, they're not really respecting your time and they're cancelling. And I was like, no way. I was like, this is what I'm meant to be doing. I'm not going to let anything get in the way. I need to build my client base up. I need to run this gym. I need to give it 110% every single day. And that's basically what I did. I stopped drinking, stopped going out, stopped taking drugs, built up my client base as a personal trainer. And here we are, in 2024, still in the fitness industry. No longer personal training, but transition to online coach and business owner. But 26 was the game changer for me. And the podcast that I did with my friend Jack, we spoke about this because he changed his life at 26. And I feel like what happens is when you're approaching 30, one day you look in the mirror and you're like, what am I going to be doing when I'm 30? Am I going to be doing the same things? Yeah. Like, what I need to change? Something needs to change. And I think a lot of people change at 26. From who I spoke to, a lot of it, something just clicks, a lot changes.
Yeah, I completely agree, mate. And, I know we were saying earlier kind of in the gym about like a shift in identity.
Yeah.
And, realistically, what it sounds like happened at that point is obviously, you've met this new person, you've got this opportunity for the gym, you're starting to PT clients, and, previous identity would have been, going out, partying, drinking, doing everything else, which I can massively relate to, mate. And I think that, like, I'll tell you what, I'll be intrigued on this, on your opinion on this. Like, as a guy who's going out, having fun, partying, doing drugs, like we were having stories about Ibiza a minute ago. Did you find that you almost had to kill a part of yourself in order to let a new part grow, or did you feel like it was more of like a natural, a smoother transition, so to speak? Like, did you feel like you had to? Were there any kind of some big things, I guess, that you would put under the bed or sweep under the carpet that you're like, right, that needs to be addressed?
Yeah, I just feel like for me, everything happened at the right time, And I just believe I was given an opportunity, and I was like, right, I'm with this girl, like everything is in my life is all of a sudden like going so well, like I'm with like the girl of my dreams, and then my mates give me this opportunity to like run a gym, my own gym. I've got a job that I'm gonna like actually love to do. I can't let him down. And that was the thing, because me and my mate, and we could talk about this, but like we've been through a lot together, and we still are, we're bestest of mates, and we've been on like a real sort of like journey together over the last like 10 years. And the fact that he gave me this opportunity, I was like, do you know what? I was like, there's absolutely no way that I'm letting him down. Yeah. Absolutely no way. And I just started to like say like all the bad things that I'm doing, they need to stop. I need to do these good things. And I had a few tests at the start, like the first couple months when I was personal training. I went out one night. So it was a Sunday night. I went out, had a drink, and then Monday morning I woke up and I had a PT client at 8 o'clock, and I went in and I was hungover, and I was like, there's absolutely no way in the world I'm ever going out again before a day's work, because it was the worst hour of my life. Like my head was banging, I felt sick, and I had to stand there with an hour and train this girl. And I was like, no, I was like, fuck that. Like, I'm never ever doing this again. And I didn't like, in the whole like 6 years that I personal trained and owned my gyms, because I had 3 different gyms in the space of 6 years. I never done it again. I never went out the night before work and never went into work with a hangover. I completely changed. And that for me was like, I was proving to myself that I can actually do things. I can actually like make something of my life, because before 26, again, I had loads of bad things happen to me, and they was out of my control, but life just wasn't really that good. Like, I was lucky, like I had a big family, I had lots of people around me that like loved me and cared for me, but life wasn't really good in terms of like I wasn't achieving anything. Like my mates were like, buying flats and like, starting families and all stuff like that. And I was just still going out every weekend doing the same thing. Yeah. Because that was my hobby. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear that, man. Mate, if you don't mind, if I've got permission, what happened to you before you were 26?
So before I was 26, so I was on holiday in Marbella when I was 20 years of age, so 2010, on a boys' holiday. So basically, we've gone out on a night out. This is the last night. Gone to a club called Tibu in Marbella. Anyway, some boy that we know in there's had a little bit of a row. Nothing's happened of it. As we left the club after, we're walking down the street. We've seen the boy that we know. He's having a little bit of a row with these fellas. We've gone over. What's going on? You all right? Yeah, he's all right. He's all right. A little bit of a scruffle. Before I know it, Guardia Civil just come over, tried to like pin us up against the wall. There was about 7 of us. 5 of the boys that I know run off, and me and my best mate who give me the gym, we just walked off. I said, let's just walk, we've done nothing wrong. Anyway, just walked. All of a sudden, we've walked about 10 steps and police had just jumped on us, pinned us down to the floor, took us back to the police station. We ain't got a clue what's going on. They're trying to nick us for armed robbery. So basically, the boy that we knew had a row with these fellas. These fellas said that he tried to rob them, what was not true. We were at the scene of the crime. There was loads of us there. Because the police have come over at that time and seen us, they've just assumed that we're part of what's going on. They've nicked us. So there was 3 of us that got nicked and got took back to the police station. Me, my best mate, and the other boy that we knew out there. Anyway, we're in the police station for a day, think that we're getting out, don't know what's going on. All of a sudden, we've been put in back of a police van. We've been taken to prison in Marbella, Alarin de la Torre. So we've been taken from the station to the prison. We still don't know what's going on, right? We're like, we're on holiday. What the fuck's going on, right? Anyway, took back to the prison. We're in the prison for like 2 days. They've come and said, you've got a court date. We're like, what's going on? We don't know what's going on. Oh, you're getting nicked for armed robbery. You tried to rob someone at knife point. So there was no knife ever recovered. They didn't look at CCTV. There was no fingerprints, no evidence. There was one bit of evidence, right? This is what happens in Spain in Guardia Civil. You'll hear these stories all the time, right? Yeah. Just because we was there and they had to make an example of something, They nicked us, took us back to the prison, took us to court. The boy that we knew was a minor at the time, so he was 16. So he basically confessed in the court and said, look, Tommy and my mate had nothing to do with it. I was having a row. It was my fault. They said, no, you're 16, you're a minor. Someone needs to take responsibility for it. He got let go, and me and my mate got sentenced to 3.5 years in prison for armed robbery.
Oh, man.
3.5 years.
And you were 20 years old.
20 years old. So I spent my 21st birthday in a Spanish prison in Seville. Me and my mate was together pretty much the whole time, and then we fought the case. There was no evidence. Obviously, there was no CCTV. Enough. There wasn't one bit of evidence. Right? We paid a lot of money for a lawyer in Spain. She couldn't get us off. There was just nothing was happening. Nothing was going right. The only way that we was going to be able to get out early was getting extradited back to the UK. So we had to fight it. We had to go through all this big, court stuff, like trying to get back to the UK. And then one day we're in the yard in Spain. So first of all, I was in Malaga for 10 months. I was in Malaga. Then I got moved to Seville. Me and my mate was together at the same time, so we shared a cell together near enough the whole time. So that's why we've got the best friend relationship that we have, because we spent a lot of time together. And if I'm honest with George, like, I was young, I was silly. I didn't really at the time think this is something bad that's happening to us. It was just like, oh, this is all right, we're going to be out one day. And that's me, hand on heart. Like, I didn't really take into consideration what happened. I was 20 years of age, and took us to Seville. So we was in Seville, we was down the yard one day, on our break. We was having lunch, and one of the guys just come in and said, Tommy Bishop, you're getting transitioned to Madrid. So that was it. Me and my mate said bye to each other after being with each other we was together for 16 months in Spain, right? So 16 months together in Spain. We basically said bye to each other. I got put in the bus. I got taken to Madrid. On the way, we had to stay over one night in I can only explain it as like a Wild Western film, like them little prisons, like the sheriff, like it was like one of them.
Yeah.
I was in a room or a cell with 8 people. There was bunk beds that were four high up. There was a hole in the floor for a toilet. Like, it was like the worst of the worst. And then I got taken from there to Madrid, because you get extradited from Madrid to like whatever countries. I was in Madrid for a month because everything was just slow, right? In Madrid for a month, and then finally got extradited back to the UK. So you got to think, like, I'm not a criminal. I've not done anything wrong. I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I was on a fucking boys' holiday.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting put on a plane in handcuffs with 2, undercover policemen next to me. Like, it's like something from a film.
Yeah.
But it's just part of my life. It just happened. I don't regret anything. It is what it is. It's made me grow as a person. It's made me realise that, there's more to life than what you think. Like, these things happen. Got taken back to England. I was in England for 6 months. I was in a couple of different prisons. I was in Wandsworth. Then I got taken to High Point. And then I got released on tag. So I ended up doing just under 2 years. So 23 months. The whole situation. So it was just like a nightmare from the start. You can imagine how my family and my mum kept flying back out to Spain. But to be honest with you, I didn't have anything going on in my life at that time, and that's why it was like, right, this is happening. Let me just get through it. It is what it is. That's that. I didn't have a girlfriend. I didn't have anyone that I loved, anyone that I cared about. So it was just sort of like, is what it is. And that was that story.
Wow, man.
So that was part 1 of me growing up.
Yeah, mate, that's incredible. That is incredible. We will go into part 2, but I'm really intrigued. And I actually asked one of my best mates this not too long ago. It was a different context to your story, but like, you're in that cell, you're with your mate, you're kind of sat there every day mulling over your thoughts. You're 20 years old, then you turn 21. Well, your 21st birthday in prison, right?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. So 21, and you turn into, and then you were there for, how long did you say it was? 3 years?
In Spain?
Yeah, just in total in a prison.
23 months. So if we would have stayed in Spain, we would have had to do the whole 3.5 years. So that's why we got extradited back, because we was like this is bollocks. Like, that please, like, where's the evidence? Where's the CCTV? Where's the forensics? Where's the fingerprints? Like there was no evidence. And that was the only reason why we got extradited back, because once we was in Spanish customs, they could keep us, they could do anything that they want. So like I served obviously just over half of my sentence. But yeah, I would have had to do 3.5 years.
Mate. And the thing is with that as well, right, is when you've got a situation like that where you feel like something isn't fair or is not right, or, I mean, you paid the ultimate sacrifice there for being in the wrong place at the wrong time, 23 months in the cell. Like, did you feel resentment building up in you? Did you feel, like, I don't know, like, what, if you had to kind of distill it down, I mean, I guess you could never give an answer in the space of an hour, but what kind of thoughts were you having when you were in there?
So the people are going to laugh at this, but when we was in the cell together, we was on a boys' holiday. We was like, our hobby was going out partying. Marbella was the thing. You go there every summer, bank holiday. It's the best place to go. We had our family send all photos in from our holiday that we had. So we put them up all on the wall, and every day we used to just look at the photos and say, like, we'll go back there next year when we get out. We're just thinking about going out again, like just partying again. Like it didn't seem real, George, if I'm honest with you. Like, you got to think, I was in a rough prison. Like Alarindo de Torre, he's like a very rough prison in Spain, in Marbella. And we was on the youth wing because we was younger, we was under 21s. There was all sorts going on. There was stabbings, there was fights, there was people taking drugs. And the thing that's funny, because we was British, for some reason, Spanish people and other nationalities think Brits are like nutters because of football. They think that like we're like hooligans. So we half got left alone. Like, I'm not saying like I look like a hooligan, but like we didn't hardly have any trouble. We had a couple little rows and that. But again, if you want trouble, you find trouble. Keep yourself to yourself. Just get on with it. There was a really good group of boys in there, from Wales, from Scotland. There was like a British group. We all stuck together. You got to think as well, don't speak a fucking word of Spanish. We're in this prison and we're like, I don't even know I don't even know what's being said here. This is like the thing the first couple of days when we was in court. They're showing us documents and it's in Spanish. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. Like, I've not got a clue.
Yeah.
Biggest regret was not learning Spanish fluent. I should have. If someone's having a conversation now, I can sort of understand it a little bit, but I wish I would have like learned it. My best mate learnt much more than me. But yeah, we used to just laugh and just say like, oh, we're going to be out one day. Cause he didn't have like no one in his life either at the same time, like girlfriend and that. And, we were just thinking about going out again. That's all we was thinking about. We was just like, oh, we're going to go Ibiza. We're going to do this. We're going to go that. But the fact that we was together, made it easier, because if we was by ourselves, it would have been a different story. Like we could have banter together. We was like bestest of friends, so we could laugh. We could, talk about the holiday, talk about what we're going to do when we get out and that. So like, I'm a very positive person. I always think positive, even back then. Like, now I'm the most positive person, but even back then I was always like, it is what it is. One of the bad things that happened when I was in there, I had a visit with my mum, my nan, my sister and my cousin. They come out, like I'd visits like once a month, but they come out for like an open visit where we was in a room together, and my nan coming out a visit, and then that was the last time I ever see her. She died when I was away, and I was very, very close to my nan, and that was like that was the worst part of the whole thing, to be honest with you. Like, having to have a phone call with my cousin telling me that my nan has died, that was tough.
That's heavy, man.
Yeah,
that is heavy. And I guess like you said there, being able to kind of go through that with your best mate and having each other support one another. I think that to me really kind of highlights the human spirit, in the sense of you're there, you're in a cell, it's completely out of your control.
Exactly.
And you're kind of face that decision of, okay, well, what else do we do here? Like, what else can we do?
Can't do nothing.
Do you know what I mean?
All you can do is remain positive.
Yeah.
That's all you can do, We were very fortunate. Like, we had friends coming out to visit us, like we'd get a visit every 2 weeks behind like the glass, and they was for an hour long, and we was having visits like every 2 weeks with like fresh people, like friends, family, people that lived in Marbella, come and visited us. Like, we had a lot of support. And another thing as well, like, I'm very fortunate, and this is why, I'm very, very lucky to be in the position that I was in, because when you're away, you get an allowance in Spain. You get like £20 a week. And all of these people that was in this wing, they didn't have any money. You know, they come from nothing. A lot of them were like Moroccans that have tried to come over to Spain and they've been caught and they've been put in prison. And we was able to have money every single week from our family. And I'll never ever forget people that sent me money and family and friends. And we was able to like buy our canteen every week. Like, my mate smoked at the time, so he was able to get his fags. Like, even now it's funny because of the way that I eat now, but like all my cereal, my chocolate, all the shit that I was getting, like I was able to have that every week. So look, I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't as bad as people might think, but I was very lucky to be in a position that I was, where I had a lot of support. You know, I was getting money sent in to me, and I was with my best friend. It made it a lot easier. It would have been a totally different story.
Yeah, well, mate, that's fucking incredible, and it's amazing to see, you know, how you've gone from that, obviously then leaving prison, and then later on being able to turn it into such a positive thing and impact so many lives and build this business, mate. It's incredible.
Well, that was the first time I ever went to a gym when I was in prison. I never trained before. The first time I ever lifted like a dumbbell, a bench press, was in prison.
Yeah,
and I'd never thought at that time this is what I'm gonna do, like, as a job. But that's just that's the way that life works, you know. That's just what happens.
and you know what's happened there is, again, something we were saying earlier, turning like negative energy into positive energy. That's all you've done. You've just spun that, and you've gone like, right, I'm in a prison, I'm in a cell, there's nothing else to do. Right, I'm going to hit the gym, you know. And I think that, like, realistically, when you are in that kind of moment where, you know, you're feeling down and out, and it's like, what the fuck do I do? It's like, well, everyone really has a choice, don't they? Like, you're in that prison, you've not got a choice that you're there, but it's like, well, at least let me do something, you know? It sounds like you've actually, I mean, obviously you wouldn't have had like the time of your life in prison because you're in prison, but the fact that you've been able to be with your friend and start training in the gym and then leave and then obviously continue that forwards. Like, I mean, I even remember back to my childhood, and obviously when you're a kid, then you got shit going on. It's like, there's only so much that you can really control.
Yeah.
But I remember the first time I didn't actually step into a gym. My dad got me like a set of, you know, them like York metal plates.
Yeah, York ones, yeah.
Yeah. And I remember him like showing me a few exercises and stuff like that. And ironically, he was the one who kind of taught me how to train, but he was also the person that I was training to, well, defend myself from. So it was quite a kind of very strange and multi-diverse relationship that I had with my dad. And I remember being at home, you know, I'd only just got into high school, and being like, right, if I get strong enough, if I can do enough press-ups, if I can do enough set-ups, if I can build my arms big enough, and if I can build my back big enough, and if I can, all these different things, then, you know, one day I'll be the man that I want to be, and I'll be a role model, and I'll be this, and I'll be that, and and all these different things. And you know, we've not even really covered this in this podcast, but realistically, I think that because I tied up so much of my identity in being a role model because I never had it, then things that have happened to me the last 2 years I've almost had to go like through a little bit of an ego death, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I know that you said to me earlier that this has been one of the hardest years of your whole life.
Yeah.
Exact same thing as me, mate. Exact same thing as me. Because I said to myself, I'm a role model, I'm a leader, I'm a coach, I'm a mentor, I'm this and this and this and this and this. But actually, all I ever needed to be was George.
Yeah.
And I weren't him anymore.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think I was. I think I lost myself completely. And although there was all this positive stuff going on in my life, there was something like eating away at me in the back of my mind. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, am I falling into like this ideology of like who I should be, you know? And I think that it sounds like for me, for yourself, you know, you've left prison, you've got that gap between 23 and 26, I believe. What happened there? Because obviously at 26, I know you had an intervention. I'm guessing, visualizing Marbella, that's what happened, right?
Yeah, so got out of prison in 2012. Not gonna lie, went straight back to like the party scene.
But mate, you would, because you missed such a massive part.
100%. You know, just had a job that I didn't love. Like, it was a family business. I was a floor layer. I used to work 6 days a week. Like, I've always wanted to like earn money, because I know that you know, if you want nice things, you've got to earn money. So I used to earn good money, but I used to spend every single penny. Okay, and me and my mate Jack talked about this on the podcast. Like, it was just beer money. You used to go to work just to buy, you know, drink. Because where we was from in Essex, it was like, people don't realise, going out was the hobby. We had the best bars, the best clubs. It was like we went out Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It was the best, and that was the hobby. So when I got out, I was on tag for the first like 4 months. Was going to festivals or stuff like that, and then it actually happened when I was away towards the back end of my prison sentence when I was in England. I felt a lump on one of my balls, and I got a little bit of pain, shooting pain. I think I had so much going on in my life, I didn't really take any notice of it. And then when I got out, like the 6 months after getting out, partying and stuff like that, and then I was noticing that like it was getting like bigger, and I was getting pain. Then I knew there was something wrong with me. I knew that there was a problem, and I tried to avoid it. I tried to, don't worry. All I care about is just having fun. That's all I care about. Kept avoiding it, and then probably the start of 2013, I think it was like in the space of like 2 weeks, I really noticed like my testicles swell up, and then I knew there was a serious problem. And look, at this stage of my life right now, I've been on a little bit of a like spiritual journey, and like I started to realize like things have happened in my life, and they've been like, signs and warnings. And when I think back to 2013, I was getting a lot of signs that there was something wrong. I would be watching TV and advert would come on, and it would be Macmillan cancer. Have you checked this? Have you checked that? And I knew that like someone was trying to like say like, there's something wrong. Go and get yourself checked out. And I kept avoiding it. Again, didn't want to like face the fact. I didn't want to like go and like to the doctors. Didn't tell anyone, obviously. And I went to a party one night with my mate. I wasn't meant to go to this party. He said, he invited me. Like he said, do you want to come? We went there. We was drinking. As we was leaving, he had a row with someone. I was like amongst it again. Like I always seem to be, when I think back to drinking, I'm always at the wrong place at the wrong time. All the bad things that's happened in my life have always been associated with drinking. Now I haven't given up drinking. I drink like every now and then, but I can control it. I'm like I'm a happy drunk. Like I don't fight. I don't want to like start arguments. I just like I'm just nice. Yeah. But at this party, I've gone over. I've got involved with the argument. Out of nowhere, someone's hit me with a bottle. Bottle didn't break, probably what was a miracle, because I probably would have had no scars on my face, but it broke my jaw. So the day after, I woke up in the morning, my face is like that. I didn't want to do nothing. My mum looked at me, she was like, go to the fucking doctor now. She's like, you looked, I can't believe the way that you look. Went to the doctors, said that my jaw's been broken, said that I've got to have an operation, they've got to like wire it, so I've got metal plate in my jaw. Anyway, they took my blood pressure, and I fainted when they took the blood pressure, and that's the first time in my life that I've ever fainted. And they was like, this is strange, you like heart rate's up, all stuff like that. And I was like, this is another sign right here. So not only I've been hit with a bottle, that's a sign. I've had to go to the doctors, they took my blood pressure, I fainted. All these signs are happening, right? So I got my jaw wired up. That was that. About 5 days after, I'm indoors, I'm resting, so I couldn't work, so my face was still like that. I just found the courage to just drive to the hospital and just drive to the doctors, and I was like, I'm getting pain in my stomach now. There's something really wrong with me. This enough's enough. Like I don't know what the next step is, but I need to like go and get this sorted out. So I drove to the doctors, went to see my doctor, showed him. He was like, get to the doctor, get to the hospital. Nah, he's like, emergency meeting, get to the thing now. So I had a van at the time, a little white van. So I got in, I'm doing this all by myself, right? When I tell people, they're like, why didn't you just ask? I'm like, I didn't want to, I was embarrassed. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want to ask anyone. So got in my van, drove to Whipps Cross Hospital, went to the emergency, showed them what was wrong, told them what was wrong. They was like, we are operating now within the hour. Who do we need to call? Call my mum, call my cousin, call my dad. No, like you got to think they're getting a phone call. Tommy's in hospital. They don't know what's going on, right? So anyway, within the space of like 2 hours, I had to have an operation, and they had to remove a tumour. I had a 12-inch tumour growing in my stomach, like into my testicle. So it was like coming right into my stomach here. That's where the pain was coming from. So I had to have an operation. They had to remove it. They'd done it all within the space of like 2 hours. They was like, look, you know, I know you hear this all the time, but we don't know what the next step would be if you didn't come today. Again, testicular cancer is not one of the worst cancers. It can be treatable, but they was like, you know, you could have died. Like, if you would have left it one more day, who knows what would have happened. So, so basically at the age of 23, I was diagnosed with testicular cancer.
Fuck.
Yeah. So that was the second bad thing that happened to me.
Yeah. I don't know if you believe in like fate or like divine, not intervention or whatever it may be, but obviously there's quite a few things that kind of led up to that point that was telling you like, right, something needs to be addressed here, something needs to change, some kind of course of action needs to go into it. And mate, when you were telling me that story, then I can't lie, I was getting pretty emotional because I've witnessed firsthand like what cancer can do to a family. Like I remember, like, I mean, I can't even imagine how fucking terrifying that must have been for you, because like I've seen twice my mum go through it and seeing the look in her eyes and knowing that something came right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what did that look like after your operation? Like, what was the recovery?
So I had to have my testicle removed and the tumor removed. Like I said, it was 12 inches, the tumor. It was right growing into my stomach. Had to have it removed. So about 4 weeks after, I'm in a car with my friends. You got to think everyone's like around me. Everyone's like giving me the support and that. They can't believe it. They're like, how the fuck has Tommy got just been like, they can't, like, they're looking at me. They're like, how have you got cancer? It don't make sense, right? I'm in the car, got a call. It's a doctor, a hospital rather. Hi, Tommy. Can you come in tomorrow? We've done your test and there's something that we need to talk to you about. So I'm thinking it's done. I'm thinking like I'm cancer free. Anyway, gone into the hospital. They've shown me the tumor markers. They've removed the tumor, but now the tumor markers are up and it's growing all over my body, like spreading. So even though they've removed the tumor, I've still got the cancer inside of me. They're like, look, you need to have chemotherapy. This is the only way to sort this out. Now, chemotherapy, there's a few people I know right now that are going through it, and I don't know personally, but I know them and I know their loved ones, and I can only just like say like it's so tough to see someone go through it, because at that time I was 23 going on 24, and I had to go through chemotherapy for a good few months. I had to spend like I would go to Bart's hospital. I would do like 2 days staying at Bart's, then I'd get released, and that was like every 2 weeks. And it kills everything in your body. So I wasn't allowed to leave the house. I was prone to infection. My hair was gone. My eyebrows was gone. I was like yellow, like I had no colour in me. It killed literally everything in my body. But I had to do it because that got rid of all of my, the tumor markers, and that made me start to recover. So that was probably about a 2 year, that was like a 2 year journey, the chemotherapy. Just from going in, test, having it done, having checkups and that. So that took me from like the back end of 2013 to like 2015. That was that. Then I was cancer free.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Mate. Sorry, I was really struggling then when you were saying that. Yeah. Well, mate, props to you, because you fucking turn your whole life around, do you know what I mean? Like, and it takes a lot for someone to do that. Just remember my mum going for it, do you know what I mean? But mate, like, I just want to say I'm proud of you, man, because like I see what you're doing now and it's fucking amazing. It really is. It really, really is.
Appreciate it, mate.
And that's, I think when you've been through that and when you see other people going through that, it really puts into perspective like a new appreciation for life. Do you know what I mean?
It does.
Like I don't know if you remember me saying this, but like I wrote a letter to my mum to open next year. Yeah. And I remember her coming home from the hospital and like hiding that she had cancer, so that she had thyroid cancer. She didn't want to tell us, and she didn't want to let me and my brother know. And the point in which she told us, I believe, if I remember rightly, I was probably about 10 and my brother was about 11 or 12. And I remember she told me, and at first it was almost like you go into a little bit of denial, and you kind of think, nah, it can't be right. Like you said with your mates, like, nah, you can't have cancer. Like, how can you have cancer? And I remember thinking that myself. And then I remember as it like progressed and I saw my mum getting like more unwell, and then things just like affected on like a day-to-day basis. And then I remember walking past my mum's like bedroom and like hearing her cry, and I've never heard her cry. And like anyone who's close to their mum, like hearing your mum cry is the worst sound in the world, you know? Like it will destroy you. And I remember like trying to support her through it, and then it going, and we were like celebrating, and then I remember it coming back. And I remember there just being a moment, I think I was about 13 or 14 years old. And, you know, I'm trying to grow closer to the rest of my family now because we were very distant from them, just from the way that my dad was. He wouldn't allow it. Like my dad didn't want us to have friends. He didn't want us to speak to my nan or my granddad or my aunts or my uncles or my cousins. Like, he didn't want it. He didn't allow it. And I remember thinking to myself, like, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do? I don't know how to cook or clean or iron or like I don't know how to do anything. Like if my mum passes, I'm gonna go into foster care. What the fuck am I gonna do? Like, how the fuck is this? Like, what am I gonna do? And I remember being 13 years old and be like, right, George, you've got to become a man now. Yeah. And I remember thinking that at 13 and be like, you've got to be the man of the house. You've got to be the adult. You've got to act now as if you're a dad, because I love my brother to pieces. If it wasn't for him, I'd be fucked. I'd probably be in prison. But Ollie, I've always been slightly more dominant, slightly bossier, slightly like I've always taken on the role of trying to be like the father figure, so to speak. And he's given me so much inspiration and helped me so much, but I kind of put that weight on my own shoulders because I thought, right, I've got to be that person. And that's what then led me to the way that I was for a long period of time, and probably what pushed me into kind of like the business coaching space, the mentoring spaces, because I've always felt like I've got to look after everyone else and all these different things. Yeah. And it hit ahead when we were saying about this, it hit ahead this year because I realized that I'd wrapped up my identity in thinking that my whole life was to be lived by like for everyone else. You know, I have to look after everyone else. Yeah. I have to support everyone else. I have to make sure everyone else is happy. I have to make sure that everyone else is winning. And I love it to pieces. I love it. And there's something that my therapist said to me earlier on this year. And he was like, George, he was like, I appreciate that you want to help people and you want to motivate people, but he's like, you're not Superman, you know? Yeah, of course. You can't save everyone. And I think one thing that I've kind of noticed myself this year is, and this is something that I really see in you, and I think that's why we connected, is obviously you spent a lot of time by yourself this year, you know, self-discovery, working on yourself, being in isolation, like doing your thing and really just trying to like become a better human being. And I thought that I had to do that for other people, not for me. Yeah. And you know, complete transparency. I remember when I went through my breakup and I looked my mum in the eye, who's my biggest inspiration. You know, I love her to pieces, and I was like, I quit. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, my purpose is gone. She's like, what are you talking about? I was like, that's why I was running the business. I quit. I ain't doing it anymore. And she had to sit down with me and just be like, what are you talking about? Like, you're not like that's, she's like, that's not it. It's for you, you know? And then I remember kind of, I said this off air, I remember working with like one-to-one with this like relationship coach and like talking them through everything that had gone on. And we did this like love language thing, and my love language is quality time. So I was like, yeah, you know, maybe we didn't spend enough time together, and I felt like I was always looking for quality time and it was never there, and I'm always doing it for other people, so why wasn't it, you know? And they sat there and they said, nah, George, like your love language isn't quality time for other people. Your love language is quality time for yourself. And you've never done that for yourself. You've never given yourself quality time. And I just sat there and I was like, fuck. And I came to Dubai and I've stayed in a marina by myself for 2 weeks. And my client and very, very close friend of mine, Anna, said to me, probably 3 or 4 days towards the end of the trip, she's like, I've known you for a long time now. I've never seen you this happy. I've never seen you this confident. Yeah. And it's because for once, mate, I'm actually fucking looking after myself. And I think the reason that, again, I'm a big believer in the fact that everything happens for a reason. You've got sent to prison for something that you didn't do. You went through all this fucking turmoil, being sent about the place to Madrid, everything else, and extradited. Then you've left. Then naturally, you're 23 years old and you've had that stolen from you. You're going to want to go out and have fun. Then you've hit that point where you're diagnosed with cancer, you think you're clear, and then you go through chemotherapy. And the reason I'm getting emotional is because I've seen it. Yeah. It's fucking horrible, mate. It's fucking horrible. And, you know, I just know sitting on this podcast today that you're fucking incredible, mate. You really are. You really, really, really are. And I know that, you know, your business, you know, like helping people to optimize themselves, optimize their life, you know, improve their health and fitness. Like I know how much it means to you. Like I really, really do. And I can see that. And I know that right now, and I said this to you in the gym, like if you wanted to, you could do fucking anything you want to do, mate. You really, really could. Because I know that not only you as a person, but like your story, your background, what you've had to overcome, the things you're working through. I think you need to write a book, if I'm honest with you, mate. I think you do need to write
I need some help writing that. I'm not very educated in that department, but like I remember when when I was going through chemotherapy and I was in Bart's Hospital, and it's really ironic. So I used to be at Bart's Hospital, like going through chemotherapy, and then fast forward like 5 years, I actually moved to like Clerkenwell, like Islington, and I could see Bart's Hospital from my flat. And I was like, I was in this place for all this time, like going through what I was going through, and now I live here and I can look at it. And sometimes I used to go for a walk, and I used to go for a walk around the hospital and just think to myself, like, how my life's changed, like how I remember being in there. I was in a wheelchair, like they was pushing me. I could walk, but like, I'm fucked. I've got no energy. I can't do nothing. They're pushing me around in a wheelchair, and now I'm doing a run around Bart's Hospital, like, and I'm like, life is just crazy how it works. And when I was in there going through chemotherapy, you got to think like you'd be up all night being sick. So I remember one night I was being like just vomiting, like couldn't stop. I felt like my head was gonna blow up, and I looked at myself in the mirror. Got no hair, got no eyebrows. I'm yellow. My eyes are like that, where I'm just being sick. And I looked at myself in the mirror, and I was just like, why me? Why is this happening to me? And then I thought about it. I thought, do you know what? I thought, this is happening to me because it's meant to happen to me. Like, God's testing me. He's proving that I can get through anything. He's making me believe that I'm a strong person. And I didn't speak about my journey and what I've been through until this year. Like, I've been on a big, like, this year's been a big journey for me in the transition and everything. But I never spoke about anything before, but I never wanted people to feel sorry for me. I never wanted to be a victim, like, oh, this has happened to me, that happened to me. Like, I just got on with life. And I'm really proud of what I've been able to achieve, because, I'm a business owner. I'm in tip-top shape. Like, I just done a triathlon last week, like triathlon sprint. I'm doing high rocks next week, like competition. So like, I'm really proving to myself that at the age of 34, like, sky's the limit. I can do anything that I want. But the reason why I'm now sharing my story is because there will be a 24, 23-year-old boy or girl that's going through this, and they will be inspired by what I've been through. And that's my goal. I want people to be inspired, and I want people to just remember that, it's not over. These things happen in life. And the most important thing is believe in yourself, stay positive, and never, ever give up on any dream that you've got. Whether you're going through bad time financially, whether you're ill, whether, you're in a relationship that is not going the way that it should be, just keep waking up every day. Just keep believing in yourself. Just keep telling yourself that everything's going to be all right. And, I say it all the time, the best is yet to come, and it really is. There's good days ahead. Just stay positive. That's all you need to do.
I love that, man. And you know what's funny? When I went to college, there used to be like a little printing machine thing where I worked at Ryan, was like a label. And I put next to my bed on like the wall, I put on there, the best is yet to come.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I had that on my wall for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And I think, mate, like realistically, kind of, you going through everything that you've gone through and being able to come out the other side of that, and like you said, that you want to be like around positive energy and give out positive vibes and these kind of things. What would you say were how do I put this? Did you struggle to kind of fall into that after everything that happened, or did it feel like quite a natural transition, being like, well, this is all I've got?
It just felt like it was meant to happen. It just felt like this is my path. This is what's meant to be. Like I said, like, so once I'd done all my chemotherapy, this was like leading into 2015. I had another year where I was just going out again, because obviously just that's what I'd done. I had like a couple of really good holidays. Like, we went Vegas, we went Ibiza. Like a couple, my sister got married and my cousin got married, one in Ibiza, one in Mallorca. So I had all these good times, these holidays. And then that was when I got into 2016, and that was when everything changed. Like the beginning of 2016, like January, that was when I met like the girl of my dreams. That was when I started to have a purpose. That was when my mate spoke to me about opening the gym, and then I haven't looked back since then.
Yeah,
And that was that. That's 8 years ago.
that's brilliant, man. What would you say your purpose is today, sat here?
My purpose today is just being an inspiration to people. I feel like everything that I've been through and everything that I'm currently doing, like, as I don't want to sound cheesy, but I feel like people can look at me and feel inspired. Like, if Tommy can do it, anyone could do it, because I was that person that was going out every weekend, and I was, an idiot. I was drunk all the time. I was taking drugs, but you can change your life around. You can change your life around. Like, so my purpose is just to be a good person. It's just to be a good person, just to be a positive person, just to, give back as much as I can. And that's where coaching for me was the thing that I was always meant to do, because change people's lives. And it's a really good feeling being able to be a part of someone's life and seeing the changes and seeing the person that they're becoming, whether it's a role model for their children, better husband, just better family member. That's been a real game change for me, being able to like change people's lives and being able to like make a positive impact.
Yeah, that's brilliant, man. I love that. And we both know that you can sleep well at night, wake up with a smile on your face doing so. So my question to you, bro, is you want to be an inspiration to other people, and you absolutely are. Who inspires you?
That's a hard question. I just think my family, like my family have always provided me with everything. Like, I'm very lucky to have a family that, like, they all speak. No one, like, there's no bad blood between anyone. Like, I've got like 30 cousins. I've got like aunts and uncles, and we're all like close, and we all like speak. I probably don't, if I'm honest with you, I speak to them as much as I should, because being out here and then being back in the UK, it's just the communication's a little bit like off. But I'm lucky to have all these people around me. And even with friends, like, I've got lots of friends. I've got lots of like really close best friends, and I've never ever fell out with anyone, never ever argued with anyone. I'm lucky to just have that. And then I'm not with her anymore, but the girl that I was with, I sort of had a second family. Like, I was very, very close with her mum and her brothers and her sisters. They felt like my brothers and sisters. So I don't know, I think I'm one of these people that I just get on with people. I feel like people want to be around me. I feel like people, they vibe off my energy. I feel like that's one thing that I try and do. I try and just like create positivity in everyone's lives. That's the thing.
That's amazing, man. And I think that allows you then to kind of go out into the world with what I would deem to be true confidence.
Yeah.
Because when you're in a social scenario, or you're talking to a client or a friend or a family member, knowing what your intentions are, knowing who you are, because you really know who you are, that to me, when we talk about inspiring people and being a role model, that's the true role model, and that's the true inspiration, because you know that you just want to help people, you just want to be friends, make connections, and just be a net positive to the world. And I remember having a conversation with a good friend of mine who was kind of going through a little bit of a low point, and they were kind of like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Like, it got pretty raw. And I remember saying to him, I was like, look, realistically, mate, he's a school teacher. I remember saying to him, realistically, mate, like, you are a net positive to the world, a huge net positive to the world. You've got so much love around you. You've got so much, people are kind of taking inspiration from you and learning from you. And I feel like when people talk about, like, what's the meaning of life, the meaning of life realistically is whatever you make it.
Yeah.
But if your making of that is, I'm going to give something back, I'm going to add something, I'm going to improve someone else's life, I'm going to be an inspiration for them, I'm going to help other people. That's why me and you fucking love this industry, mate.
Yeah.
Because we get to wake up and help people.
100%.
What better job in the world is there than that?
Nah, and like, this year's been like everything that I've gone through.
Yeah.
This has been the toughest year of my life. I've had to deal with so many dark days this year. What's my purpose? Like, what am I meant to be doing? I'm in this country by myself. I've lost my best friend, like the girl that I was with. I was in a relationship for 8 years. We're no longer together. That's been the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with in my life, even with prison and cancer. That's the hardest thing, believe me, right? And it got to August. The weather out here in August in Dubai is ridiculous. You can't even step outside your door. So I said, I'm going to stay out here. It's my first summer out here. I was like, let me just ride it through. Like, all my friends are going home. They're going Marbella's and London's and all stuff like that. I was like, let me stay by myself. So I've done everything positive that I could do. Like, I didn't drink for 4 months. I was training. I was super fit, super healthy, doing everything right. And I literally felt like I had no drive. And I was like, what's going on? I don't understand. And I know that it was to do with my relationship and dealing with that. And I was in the mall that I go every day, Dubai Hills Malls, where I live. I was sitting in Costa, where I go every single day. I was on my laptop, and I was looking around, and I didn't really see anyone that was like me, that looked like me. It was like, you know, all different types of people, but there was no one really like, who I could like resonate with. And I was sitting there and I felt isolated. I felt like I was in the middle of the world by myself. And that was a really like dark point for me, because I was out here by myself, no really close friends, no one around me. And I just decided to book a flight home. And I went home, and I went back to England for 3 weeks, and it was the best 3 weeks I've had in a long, long time. I met up with all the people that I needed to meet up with. You know, I've done all great stuff. I tried to meet up with as many clients as I could, training sessions and that. And that was a real sort of like break that I needed. And then when I come back to Dubai, I was like, right, I needed that. I was at a really low point. I've been and seen all the people that make me happy in my life. Now I feel good again. So even when everything's going right, like I'm more successful than I've ever been. I'm fitter and healthier than I've ever been. You know, I feel more mentally strong than I've ever been, but I still had a bad day. I still had a dark day. And I was like, there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, it just happens.
Totally, mate. Totally. You know, and it's the yin and yang of life, isn't it? Yeah. You can't have good days without bad days. You can't have, you know, love without hate. And you, like, realistically, with that experience you're having, like when you are very isolated and it's very singular and you're very much like by yourself, it's very difficult, because when you're experiencing all of these emotions and you don't have any kind of outlet and you can't like speak to anybody about that, you can only go inward. And when you go inward, you know, I was talking to Preet, who's an amazing person who's in my life right now, and what he wants me to do terrifies me, and I think at some point I'm going to do it. He wants me to go to Thailand and sit in a room with no noise, no light, no windows, no outside input for 6 days.
Yeah,
that's what he wants me to do. That terrifies me, because sitting with this for 6 days, fucking hell. But that's how you would have felt at that moment.
Yeah. So like I've never spoken to a therapist, nothing like that. And I do believe in speaking. Like, probably my biggest mistake, you know, even with like the relationship I was in, like we probably needed to speak to people. But I remember applying to like a online therapist in August, way out of like my, you know, character. I've never done it before. And I remember writing the email, and I've still got it saved on my phone. And it was, I've got everything going right in my life right now, but I don't know the purpose. I don't really know what I'm lacking. I don't know what it is that I need. And I didn't go through with speaking to a therapist. I went back to England, but I've got that message saved on my phone because I'm proud of me being able to overcome them bad days. So I didn't speak to anyone. I've done it on my own back. You know, I sort of sorted myself out, and I've got that saved because like, that was a really dark day. That was a really like bad time in my life. I didn't really know what was going on. Like I said, like I didn't know what my purpose was. Like I was like, right, look, I'm successful. My business is thriving. I've got all this stuff going on for me, but I still feel unfulfilled. I don't know what it is. Now I know what it is. Now I've realised what it was, what I was lacking. And I'm just proud of myself to being able to like get over them days. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's the most important thing for me.
That's powerful, man. And you know what? I'm a big advocate of this as well. I really believe that, you know, if you give a man a purpose and a means to get there, he'll just run for a brick wall to get to it.
Yeah.
And that's why I know that you're doing so well with what you're doing, because you've got that there, you know. One thing I will say to you though, bro, and we'll wrap it up on this because I know that otherwise we'll be running out of time. This is going to sound really cheesy, but I wanted to say this from what you were saying. I know you want to inspire people. I know you want to help people. I know you want to coach people. I know you want to change the fucking world. You want to change the coaching space, because I do too. I see that. And the idea of not doing that scares me, because me and you both know how much potential we have. But I know, and I want you to know, that realistically, if we just pull everything back to the bare bones, all you need to be, mate, is Tommy.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's enough. That is enough. And I mean that because I think that, especially as men, we think that we need to get to a certain point or a certain level or a certain income or certain impact or a certain amount of inspiration. But all you need to be, mate, is Tommy. And I'll tell you now, that's fucking more than enough because you're an incredible bloke.
Mate, appreciate it, honestly. Thanks for thanks for putting this together. We'll definitely do a part 2.
Definitely, 100%, mate.
But yeah, you're 100% right. And I feel like one thing that I've done my whole life is try to be perfect. Like my hair's got to be perfect. I can't wear different colours. I've got to match everything. And then when I went back to London in August, something happened where I was like, do you know what? I was like, no one actually gives a fuck. Yeah. Like no one cares if I've got black trainers on and orange shorts, like instead of black shorts. Like no one actually cares. Like you should just do what makes you happy. Just be yourself. Just do the right things. Just do the things that make you happy. The positive things. Stop worrying about what other people think all the time. And that was a real sort of game changer for me, if I'm honest.
Yeah. I love that, mate. I love that, and I think that's a good point to kind of round things up on, mate. But I just want to say, for anyone who doesn't currently follow you or wants to kind of find you online, where can people find you?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram. So it's just _Tommy Bishop 17. Only on Instagram at the moment. I haven't transitioned to all other socials, but one thing at a time. So we'll put a link down below on here. But just on Instagram.
Wicked, mate. Well, Tommy, thank you again for jumping on board. Thank you all for listening. If you guys enjoyed this one, give us a like, give us a comment, whack it in a story and tag us both. We both really appreciate it. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers, mate.
Thanks, George.